Welcome back. The Giants' visit to Miami was part football game, part track meet. And that's an unfortunate combination for Big Blue, who lack the speed and the depth to keep up with the Dolphins. You hear John Schmeelk on Giants Radio, pre- and post-game coverage. And he joins us to make sense of what happened to the Giants here today. If it's possible, John, to make sense of all of this. I mean, we kind of knew going in. You don't have Saquon Barkley. You're missing 3 regulars on the offensive line. We knew what to expect going in.
Hey, look, it was going to be a tough go. If you would have talked to Giant fans before the season, who are the 2 players on offense besides the quarterback, which is the easy answer, you can least afford to lose? Answer 1 would have been either Saquon Barkley or Andrew Thomas. And they've been without both those guys since week 2. So obviously, you're going against the Dolphins, one of the top 5-6 teams in the league. It's going to be a tough go given how well they've played on offense this year.
And it was tough almost from the start. I mean, the Dolphins, they strike fast. They strike in a hurry, and they strike big from just about anywhere on the field. But their opening drive was kind of a statement right away. Tua Tagovailoa is practically flawless as quarterback right now with Miami, and he has so many weapons to work with. But I think the thing that strikes me when you look at the juxtaposition of the 2 offenses, Miami's so creative with what they do, probably because they have the weapons and they can do it.
Yeah, and I think it's because of their personnel, to your point, right? And their offensive line gives them enough time to do some of those creative things. The Giants can't say that right now, given all the injuries they've had up front. You know, what really hurt the Giants today was the explosive plays they allowed. 3 plays of 60-plus yards for the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill logged the fastest play in the NFL this year. And Achane had the 3rd fastest play in the league this year on his longest run.
You're seeing it right here.
And you could just gaining ground on every step, right? And they just took advantage of their speed, and the Giants defense, while they had those 3 takeaways, they just could not be on the, details that they needed to be defensively to prevent some of those big plays.
Well, you have such a thin margin for error to work with when you're facing anybody, it seems, right now for the New York Giants, but the Dolphins especially. I mean, it was like a track meet out there, and you're just not going to keep up with that. With what they have. The Tyreek Hill play, after the game, Xavier McKinney said he wasn't out of position on that. And he said, let's stop blaming the defense for all of this because we lost as a team. But you gave up a lot of big plays. I mean, some of it has to fall defensively on that side of the ball.
Well, I think when you're at where the Giants are at, it is a team situation where everyone has to play better, right? And the defense did do some good things in the game. They had 3 takeaways. The Giants did not have a takeaway heading into this game. They had 3, including a 102-yard interception return for a touchdown. So they did make some good plays, but they did not play well enough to win the game. The Dolphins had 500 yards of offense here.
I mean, they're averaging 500 plus a game.
And that was with them basically just running the ball out in the 4th quarter, right?
Yeah.
So the defense cannot allow those types of big plays through the air and on the ground. And aside from that one Tyreek Hill play, to your point, they weren't throwing balls down the field. There's a lot of short stuff, shallow crosses like that to Tyreek Hill.
We see the bad tackling, though, again.
Little bubble screens.
Yeah, when you can't wrap up at the point of contact, and that's been a problem the Giants have been dealing with through the first month of this season. It's really rears its ugly head against a Dolphins team like this.
And we just saw that big play to Tyreek Hill. You have a rookie 6th-round pick in press coverage. It's going to be a tough go. He didn't get a hand on Tyreek Hill at the line of scrimmage. He got over the top on him, and he scored the long touchdown. Look, he's not the first guy that Tyreek Hill's done that to. He's not going to be the last guy that Tyreek Hill's going to do that to. Look, the Dolphins put up 70 on the Broncos. Obviously, 31 isn't 70, but it was still too many points for the Giants' offense to keep up.
All right, so the Giants' offense was a struggle, especially without Saquon, with their 5th different offensive line combination in 5 games now. And you have Daniel Jones facing an injury situation going forward because he was sacked 6 more times today after, 10 sacks last Monday?
Yeah, and the Giants are up to allowing now 30 sacks this year. You do the math, that's on pace for allowing 100 sacks over a 17-game season. He got pressured on 50% of his dropbacks in this game. And there are some plays where maybe there are some room for him to do some more things and play a little bit better. But for the most part, and you saw that last big hit by Andrew Van Ginkel, left tackle, and this is not Josh Azuda's fault. He's a guard being forced out of position at left tackle with Andrew Thomas's injury.
He was pretty upset about it after the game.
Yeah, and he was very upset after the last game, too, and he gave a couple sacks in the 4th quarter to the Seahawks. And that just happened so quickly. Jones is at the top of his drop. A guy's on his blind side. He can't see him coming on that play, and he gets hit. Now there's going to be tests this week. We'll see how long Daniel Jones is out. Hopefully he's able to play on Sunday night against Buffalo. But when your offensive line is functioning at that level, it's going to be hard for your offense to put up a lot of points, and that's been the case for the Giants this year.
A lot of pressure on Saquon Barkley to get back this week.
Yeah, I think there's pressure on him to get back every week. I think he wants to help the team win football games, and that's his mentality. He knows he's their most explosive player on offense when he's healthy. As important as Andrew Thomas is for protecting Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley protects Daniel Jones in his own way. When you have to respect the run game, the play-action pass run works a lot better. Sure. That allows you to protect the offensive line more by running more play-action and running the ball at Saquon Barkley. So when he gets back, it's certainly going to help things.
Tried to get Darren Waller more involved. There were more targets today. It's just hard to do when you almost expect it coming, because where else are the Giants going to go? But you did see it, and we have to see Waller more involved in this offense.
Yeah, and he had the most receiving yards in the game since he's had since Week 11 in 2021.
Wow.
It was good to see him get involved. He made a couple tough catches over the middle. He had to reach back for one over the middle, where he made a really unbelievable catch. In fact, that's our play right there. That is an extremely difficult catch.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, Giant fans might remember the play deep down the right sideline earlier in the game.
Which is a great play by the defensive back.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. I think Xavier Howard did get his hand on the ball, but I'm sure Darren Waller, after the game, it did hit him in the hands. He'd say, I need to make that play for the quarterback. And unfortunately for the Giants, that's kind of been the situation this year, right?
Yeah.
Their margin of error is so small because of all the injuries. They'll maybe have a handful of plays over the course of the game where they have the chance to make a big game-changing play, and they just haven't made enough of those over the course of the year, and that's why they are where they are.
Yeah, and in a game that's so close, it's 17-10 at halftime, you need those plays to change the course of the game. Otherwise, it snowballs on you, and that's what's happening to this Giants team. And it does not get easier with the schedule. I mean, you've got quite the 1-2 punch from the AFC East. You get the Dolphins today. Now you got to go to Buffalo. And you don't know if you're going to have Daniel Jones for this game. Don't know if you're going to have Saquon Barkley for this game. Who knows what's going on the offensive line, too. How difficult is this to have to go to Buffalo to face the Bills?
Well, this Bills team beat the Dolphins team that beat the Giants today by 20 last week.
That's encouraging.
And the Bills lost in London this morning to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, they're probably going to be a little bit cranky coming back after a loss. They're a balanced team. They have very good defense. Josh Allen, when he plays at his best, is maybe top 3 quarterback in football. Now, he'll give the ball to the other team, too, if he's not playing his best. So you'll have those opportunities, but the Bills are a very good football team. The Giants are going to have to continue to try to play a better brand of football if they want to come away with a win.
All right, that's the story from the Giants. John Schmeelk, you hear him on the radio. He's all over the podcast game with the Giants at Giants.com. We appreciate you coming by 30 Rock to talk about this one.
Happy to do it,
Next
John.
time, let's talk about a win.
Absolutely.
We just don't know how many of those are on the schedule going forward. All right, the Giants hope to have Saquon Barkley back soon as they regroup for next Sunday's visit to Buffalo. And you know that game is going to be, yes, strike up the music, on Sunday Night Football. Giants-Bills in Buffalo. Brian Dable against his former team. Coverage starts at 7 with Football Night in America. And then Bruce will be here to wrap up the game afterwards on Sports Final. As we go to break, it is time for the fourth drive of